completed until next year, will include power outlets for all your gadgets. On Wall Street today, stocks end mostly higher, getting a big boost from a 5% spike in oil. The Dow up 36 points higher. The Nasdaq added 25, and oil's back above $38 a barrel, even though U.S. stockpiles of crude hit another record high this past week. Late earnings from Square, the mobile payments company, which lost more money than forecast, but it beat on earnings. Mortgage applications inching a little bit higher last week, even though rates also edged upward. And Volkswagen's top executive in the U.S. is getting the boot amid the automaker's diesel emission software scandal. I'm Tom Busby, CNBC Radio.
Shark Tank Judge Barbara Corcoran for On Deck Business Loans.
I swim with the sharks every week on TV, so I know many small businesses need capital to grow. That's why I'm excited to tell you about On Deck Small Business Loans. They offer business lines of credit up to $100,000 and term loans up to $500,000 in as little as one business day, which means you get the capital you need when you need it to help your business grow. On Deck is 100% focused on small business, and it's easy to tell. The online application is very simple, and they have dedicated funding advisors who are available to consult with you on your financing needs. On Deck has an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and has delivered more than $4 billion to thousands of businesses nationwide. Best of all, 93% of their customers would recommend On Deck to a friend. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Give On Deck a call today.
Take Barbara Corcoran's advice and apply now at OnDeckLending.com or call 800-294-5790. 800-294-5790.
Loan subject to lender approval. Must be open 1 year and have $100,000 in annual revenue.
Kcaa.
Looking for a great cover band or one of the world's top tribute artists for your corporate event? You've come to the right place. David Levin Entertainment, Southern California's premier entertainment company, serving the Inland Empire, Orange County, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Call us at 650-282-5009 or visit us online and watch the videos at davidlevinent.com. That's davidlevinent.com.
Good Wednesday afternoon. It is 3:02. Dr. Jolly just around the corner. But first, look at national, international, and local news here on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. Once rivals on the Republican presidential stage, former candidate Carly Fiorina is giving Ted Cruz the nod for the GOP nomination. Fiorina endorsed the Texas senator while speaking at a rally in Miami today. She said Cruz is the man to beat Donald Trump for the Republican nomination. And the White House is confirming that Attorney General Loretta Lynch is no longer being considered for the Supreme Court. Presidential spokesman Josh Earnest said Lynch is now officially off the list as a possible replacement for the late Justice Antonin Scalia. Earnest noted that she already has quite an important job at the Justice Department. And here, closer to home, in a story for Dr. Jolly, a Santa Monica Democrat is reviving a proposal intended to curb Californians' sugar intake after recurring legislative defeats. Assemblyman Richard Bloom announced today that he's introducing legislation to impose a 2-cent per ounce charge. Oh, per ounce, Dr. Jolly.
That's not enough. It's got to be more.
Okay, we'll talk more. Fees collected under AB 2782 would benefit clinics that address obesity, diabetes, and oral health. At least 7 bills seeking warning labels or extra charges on the sugary drinks failed in the Democratic-controlled California legislature between 2010 and 2015. And finally, a man whose arm was broken by a Corona police officer during a December 2014 arrest has received $149,000 from the city to resolve his lawsuit. Jose Angel Miranda, now 26, alleged officers used excessive force, denied him medical treatment, and called him a crybaby who should drink more milk. Miranda was handcuffed by Corona police after they confused him with a car theft suspect they were searching for in a nearby apartment complex on South Sherman Avenue. Inland Empire weather going to be sunny for the most part tomorrow. Once again, much like today, with tomorrow's high about 79. Overnight lows tonight 46. Currently we are at 76, which seems to be our high for today here in San Bernardino. Checking out your drive, the accident in Paris on the 215 southbound before Harley Knox Boulevard, that has been cleared. So good news there. Other than that, stop and go through Corona 15 southbound between the 91 and Magnolia Avenue. And then also through Ontario, 15 northbound is busy between the 60 and Harupa Street, and the southbound side slow from the 10 to the 60. Through Temecula, stop and go 15 northbound between Rancho, California and Winchester Road. And that is the very latest with news, weather, and traffic on the station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
Welcome to What's It All About? This is Dr. Donald Jolly Gabriel live on KCAA Radio, 1050 on your AM radio dial and 106.5 on your FM dial. I have a wonderful guest with me today, David Lawrence from Chicago, who will add some interesting things to what we have to say. I am very interested today, and Di, stay on the line for a couple of minutes and share with us the extra 2 cents, which is a useless amount of tax on this sugar stuff.
Well, but if you go and you get a soda at the store, aren't those 20 ounces? How big are they?
Oh, they can be 20 ounces.
They can
be, absolutely.
Is that a big one?
They can be 20 ounces, and that's pretty large. Yeah,
So
I mean, that's enough for it. It's really too much for one serving.
Yeah, but okay, so 2 cents. I was thinking 2 cents per like a bottle, but if it's per ounce, that's about like 40 cents, right?
Well, I'm not sure it is. See, I don't know whether it's per bounce or per serving.
No, it says per ounce, and we'll look at your water bottle. See, my water bottle, 20 fluid ounces.
Well,
so
that's about 40 cents, right?
So that's fine.
Well, that's enough to probably cause someone to think twice before they eat it. But I want to tell you what sugar is. Sugar is the most evil demon from the deepest, darkest pit of hell. I want everybody to understand that. What it does to our bodies is incredible and irreparable. And the cause of diabetes in our culture is sugar and carbs that become glucose or sugar in the blood a few minutes after consumption. We eat too much of this crap. We have to eat more vegetables, more meat, more low-carb things, good carbs, not bad carbs, and we have to cut out the sugar. Sugar is in everything. It is evil. It reacts to our body as poison. It causes things to happen in our body with our blood sugar that over a period of time can kill us. And the way that sugar kills us is a very slow, miserable process. It's not wonderful. So I want you all to remember, take a look at sugar. Whatever you eat, don't eat any sugar. Get off of it. It's like being addicted, and we are addicted. It is a drug. It's almost as bad as heroin addiction. So that's my point, Lady Di.
Okay, I have a question. I've asked you this off the air before, but just for the listening audience, what about natural sugar in fruits?
Well, fruits have a lot of sugar, and sugar is sugar. Natural sugar in fruits is better than all the other crap that we make and put into things. Yes, it is better, but it's not good. A little bit of sugar is fine in the fruits. But when you sit down to, say, for example, raspberries, don't eat the whole box. Eat 1 or 2 raspberries at a time. Savor them. Eat them slowly. Have a great orgasmic experience as you taste the wonder of your raspberries or strawberries or blackberries or whatever they are. We eat like elephants. We scarf it down. We don't even enjoy it. And then we have the bad effects of the excess sugar.
Well, I wanted to add that you've met Don before.
Yes.
My boyfriend. He doesn't eat any sugar. He's lost 20 pounds just within the course of like a couple months just from laying off sugar.
Well, that's probably good for him. I mean, he doesn't look like a skeleton, does he?
No. You saw him, I think,
at the
after
Christmas
his
party.
weight loss. Yes.
At our wonderful party we had. Yeah. That was wonderful. Well, he's incredible. Give him my honor and glory for what he's doing. We all need to stop eating that crap. It's poison.
Yes,
and we'll lose weight. We'll have a more beautiful body, and we'll slow down the disease processes in our body. We'll certainly slow down the progression of any diabetic inclusion that might be going on in our body. You know, diabetes is an incredibly horrible disease. I don't think we really understand, but what it does is it attacks the small blood vessels of our body. And it can cause kidney failure, all kinds of heart problems. It can cause blindness because the small blood vessels in the kidneys and the blinds are so much affected by it. And it does. It causes eye problems. It causes definable and perceivable problems with the heart and with the kidneys. And many people need to have dialysis when they're experiencing diabetes for a certain number of years, because it threatens their life, their very life. So we need to take responsibility for what we put into our mouths. We put crap into our mouths, and we put too much garbage, and we're driven by what feels good. You know, and I mean, that's about everything we do. We do that sexually. We do what feels good, when it feels good, how it feels good, whatever. And that's maybe a little more difficult to deal with than the choice of eating food. But we need to deal with all these things. We need to be very prudent with what we allow our bodies to do, because they're precious, they're wonderful, they're powerful, and we can destroy them very, very easily. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And you know what? It's funny. The diabetes thing is what scared him, because he just thought he couldn't get it, because he works out. He's always worked out. He's always been into that. And so he just really changed his lifestyle after he found out he had diabetes. So it's a good thing.
Well, God bless him. We give him joy and support. That's wonderful, because most people don't. They just keep eating sugar and carbs and donuts and cakes and Coca-Colas and all the other things that cause problems. And then what happens to them is they have a miserable, slow death. And we don't wish that on anybody. So if anybody wants me to shriek at them and scream at them and tell them what to do and what not to do, they can call area code 949-680-1915 and ask for a personal conversation with me, and I will be happy to shriek at you for no charge. You like that?
Very much, very much.
That's good, no?
Yes, it is.
I have a wonderful guest with me today. I want to introduce David Lawrence from Chicago. And David has some health issues that I asked him to share with our audience, a few of them. And I'm going to ask him to tell us what he's doing. And he's doing some pretty exciting things now that I'm going to be very happy with the results, I am pretty sure. And I want him to come on the show every week and give us a bit of a report on what he's doing, what's happening, how he's feeling, and if he's being appropriately disciplined on this. And if not, we all need to punish him. We'll have one Saturday when we'll flog him at a public park. So we'll invite everybody to come. David, I introduce you to everybody. Say hello to our listening audience.
Hello. This is David. I believe I have Lyme's disease, and also a terrible fungal infection.
Tell us about Lyme's disease. What is Lyme's disease? You eat too many limes and you get disease?
No, nothing like that. You get bit by a bug. Most people believe a tick of some kind. I'm led to believe that it's possibly even mosquitoes at this point, and maybe other bugs as well. It's terrible. Most people get misdiagnosed with MS, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, Alzheimer's. There's actually a documentary on it called Under Our Skin.
Where can we have people watch this documentary?
Netflix or YouTube. You might have to pay for it. It changes all the time.
It's worth watching. It's worth paying for.
It is. It's very much worth paying for. There's many people I've met, actually hundreds of people, and some of them were misdiagnosed with MS for years.
And MS is a miserable disease, multiple sclerosis, miserable.
Yes, lupus. I actually had some symptoms of Parkinson's, of all these diseases, actually. And my head would twitch like Parkinson's. I mean, all kinds of things. Just crazy things. For a little while, my sight was coming in and out, my hearing, all kinds of things. I met a lady who was paralyzed from the waist down and going blind, going deaf, and she left the country and got treatment and got a whole lot better, actually.
Okay, talk to me now. She left the country and got treatment. That insinuates that we're not treating the process in an appropriate and effective fashion. Is that something that is a concern, that should be a concern for me, or is it erroneous?
No, I definitely think it's not being treated correctly. The CDC is having...
CDC, what does that mean?
The Center for Disease Control.
Oh, that's the big shots in Washington, right?
Yeah, is actually fighting a group of doctors. And basically, they're trying to change the guidelines so people can be treated and treated correctly. And you know, it's a big battle. You should watch Under Our Skin.
So Under Our Skin is the name of the video?
It's a documentary with a pathologist on there that swears that there's no cause supposedly for MS, Parkinson's, ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease.
ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease.
And
That's
Alzheimer's.
a horrible disease.
Yep.
You're telling me that it might be related to this, and it might not be basically and structurally as bad as we perceive it because of how we treat it?
Exactly. The pathologist tested Alzheimer's brain biopsies, and 7 out of 10 of them came back positive for Lyme disease, the actual organism.
The organism of Lyme's disease. And so how do we get rid of it?
Well, if you find they call it a Lyme literate doctor, they usually treat it with really heavy-duty antibiotics that the insurance companies won't cover. And that's if you can pay cash for the doctors and pay cash for all the insurance, or all the drugs, rather. And
I don't understand why the insurance company won't pay for the medication.
Well, because it's expensive. It's a lot. It may be indefinitely. It's much more higher amounts of antibiotics that cost a lot.
Well, what does that have to say about our healthcare system?
Well, I personally wish it was a lot better than what it is.
Are you saying it sucks, or am I saying it sucks?
Well, I think we both are.
Okay, good.
Another bad thing about that is, antibiotics can cause fungal infections. So there are better and different ways of treating it.
Because antibiotics lower the effectiveness of your immune system, so the immune system can no longer attack the fungal problems. Is that the basic reason?
Well, that, and I believe from my research, I don't know everything, but a lot of these antibiotics are actually made with mycotoxins or fungus.
I see. In other words, they rely on the fungal properties of these things to fight the bacteria, but they're feeding the fungus as well as fighting the bacteria.
Yeah, and
so it's fighting a losing battle.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
There's other ways of doing things. Some people use herbs. Some people do hyperthermia out of the country.
Hyperthermia. Define we know what herbs are. Talk about hyperthermia. What is that?
They raise your temperature of your body, sometimes through your blood. There's other ways of doing it. I don't know all the ways, but it raises your body temperature sometimes up to 107 degrees, and basically, cooks a lot of the...
So that is a high enough level of temperature to affect the life cycle of the bacteria, I would imagine. Is that why they do it?
I believe that's the gist of it, yeah. And I've actually met a guy who was a cable guy of mine, and his father actually beat his cancer that way. He went down to South America and got much better that way.
Well, South America, why do you have to go to South America? You can't get hyperthermia here?
I don't believe you can. And actually he cured he got rid of his cancer.
Well, hyperthermia then is something that everybody should look into to learn about. Just to learn about. Nothing wrong with learning and growing and understanding what different medical modalities exist, because we certainly in our country don't do everything, and we don't know everything anyway.
No, definitely not.
Well, that's very interesting. What other things do you have to share with us about this this disease process? It sounds like a horrible, horrible disease process. What are the effects of it? What do you feel like? What are the effects of the disease process, and what do you feel?
Well, everybody's different. Everybody. That's the crazy thing about it. It's completely different for each person. Some people get diagnosed with MS, lupus, Parkinson's. Some people just some weird autoimmune disease.
Is this because the symptoms are similar and the diagnosis is based on an opinion of the symptoms?
Yeah, there are some testings, you can, for MS, you can do brain scans and spinal scans of some kind and look at that. But a lot of the symptoms from the actual person can be identical. With me, at one time, my liver was shutting down. I was turning yellow a little bit. I did some colonics. And
colonics? What's colonic mean?
It's a machine that it's done rectally. It washes out your large intestine, and it allows your bile to be released from your liver.
How do you wash out your large intestines?
It's done rectally with a hose, I guess, and there's a machine, and it washes out your large intestine and allows your liver to release its bile, kind of like an oil filter. And I actually felt some Bactrim come out in my face that I had taken 6 months prior. If you've ever taken it, you'll know the feeling, and you'll never mistaken the feeling.
I see. Okay, so you actually insert a tube in the rectum, right?
Yes.
And you inflow water, and then you have to have some outlet for it at the same time. Is that what happens?
Yes.
Okay, I remember colonics from school days, where the water that was infused into the colon came out and went through a glass tube and was observed by the therapist to see what might be coming out. What kind of things might we expect to come out?
Well, that's a funny question. With me, it was nothing that you could really see that was too crazy, except for bile. So your
bile, yeah.
Which is kind of
yellow.
Bile
is made by what? The liver?
Yeah, the liver, gallbladder, all of that's connected.
Is it a kind of a foul green substance?
Yeah, green, yellow. The colonics person that I went to one time said that she had a man that was completely impacted, and basically he had a lot of parasites.
Well, that means his colon was clogged with you-know-what.
Yeah, all the way up.
Well, that's not a good thing, because you're reabsorbing the toxins and poisons, and that is a disease process in itself.
Yes, it is. And she said this particular man ate a lot of sushi.
Well, not only then was he, he was not only providing a bit of toxicity, but he was providing probably live organisms that were infesting his colon. Is that what the story would be on that?
Yeah. She said that sushi was something she would not eat after that. And I also met another man with a similar problem. From eating, he eats a lot of sushi. And
we're getting worms. You're eating live worms, in effect, whether they're unborn or not yet, and they're coming to fruition and coming to life in your colon, and then you're being affected not only by parasites but by the waste. I think it's the waste of the parasites more than anything that would be the big problem. Do you think so?
Yeah, the waste, and just definitely. It's probably very acidic as well to change, your whole body. And it's just changing your body to be less and less available, or the environment is not conducive to human life. It's more and more conducive to the parasite's life.
Very, very interesting. We got a call during the week, and we got on our back line a message about talking about Alzheimer's disease and trying to equate it to something that is being called type 3 diabetes. So I wanted to let everybody know that over the next couple of weeks, we'll be putting at least 10 minutes per show on this subject, because there may be something real to it, and we want everybody to have the opportunity to do their own research and take a look at it. So, David, tell us about you and your progress, if any, or if there's no time frame to develop progress yet. What are you doing to help your disease process or your perceived disease process?
Hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
You're doing hyperbarics?
Yes, I am.
Great.
I'm also doing ozone therapy. And
ozone therapy. What is ozone therapy?
Ozone therapy is an oxygen therapy. It's O3. It's instead of O2. It can kill pathogens. It can boost your immune system. You can do it many different ways. You can go to a clinic to have it done. Other countries do it a whole lot more than America.
Well, it's not very common in the United States. Ozone therapy can be very dangerous and has to be administered very carefully. O2 is an oxidative form of oxygen, and it does have some damaging capability. O2 is oxygen, and even in a concentrated way in the hyperbaric chamber, it doesn't have many negative effects unless you really toxify with it, which means you stay in there much, much longer than you could even tolerate, and that's not a good thing. But O2 must be administered by somebody who understands what they're doing. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anything can be harmful to you.
Well, somebody said to me in a kind of a snide remark, well, water can't hurt you. And I brought up the case of the woman about 5 years ago in Orange County who wanted to go on a purification program, and she drank one of those big 5-gallon bottles of water that goes in the dispenser from 8 o'clock one morning until 5 o'clock one afternoon, and that evening she died. She had acute edema, and she burst. She exploded. And water came out, and she ruined her organs, and she died. So anything, too much of anything can do us in, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So talk to us more about your progress, what you're doing, how long you've been doing it. Have you been doing it long enough to perceive any benefit, or have you just started? Give us a little lowdown on that.
Well, I just started the hyperbaric chamber treatments. I did some mild chamber treatments before, which I seen some results. It helped my brain fog that I had from the Lyme disease. It helped my sight, my hearing, my energy level. Like a lot of people with Lyme disease are diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. And now I'm doing the actual hard chamber. I don't know exactly the exact term, but the professionally used chambers.
That's a good word. That's a real medical chamber that's certified for medical use that goes down to very deep levels.
Yeah. So I'm doing that right now. Ozone therapies. I'm changing my diet to mostly all vegetables, basically. A little bit of other things, but 95% vegetables. I'm going to be doing some liver cleanses, which I think is a great idea for everybody to do. Liver cleanses and colon cleanses, kidney cleanses, parasite cleanses, yeast cleanses or candida cleanses.
You're doing so many cleanses, I'm assuming you must need cleansing.
Everybody needs cleanses.
Everybody needs cleansing.
Yes, everybody does.
Yeah, we do. We eat a lot of crap, and it builds up in our body. And this is a good time for us to do something very important. We have to take a break because we're a radio station and we have commercials and things to say. So this is Dr. Donald Jolly Gabriel on KCAA Radio, 1050 on your AM dial, 106.5 on your FM dial. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Hyperbaric oxygen therapy has only lately begun to gain recognition for treatment of chronic degenerative health problems, including stroke, diabetic ulcers, wound healing, brain injury, and many other disorders. Whenever blood flow and oxygen delivery to vital organs is reduced, healing can potentially be aided with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Are you a candidate for hyperbaric oxygen therapy? Contact Dr. Donald Jolly Gabriel, PhD, for a free consultation and see if this groundbreaking therapy can help you. Mention KCAA and get a free gift. Call toll-free 1-877-423-7986. That's 1-877-423-7986.
Or go to hyperbaric-solutions.com. That's www.hyperbaric-solutions.com.
Call toll-free right now, 1-877-423-7986. Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy.
Elite Pet Boutique wants to remind pet owners of the importance of spaying and neutering. Shelters overflow with unwanted pets. Spaying and neutering helps to prevent this and has many health benefits too. This message courtesy of Elite Pet Boutique at 1689 East Highland in San Bernardino. For all breed dog and cat grooming with over 30 years of experience, call 909-388-7387. That's 909-388-7387. Elite Pet Boutique is on the air because they care.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Behind on your payments or barely making minimums? Do your massive interest payments have you running like mad in circles? How long can you keep it up? Stop running. Let the Thomas & Law Group carefully plan your escape. The Thomas & Law Group has proven itself for over 18 solid years, helping thousands of people like you and me reclaim our financial future. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and offices in all 50 states. And the best part? There are no upfront fees at all. You won't pay a dime until the job's done. No upfront costs, no monthly fees, no banking fees. No other law firm does that. I'm a paid spokesperson, not a lawyer, and every case is different. But really, if you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, call the Thomas & Law Group right away for a free, no-obligation consult with a trained legal analyst at 800-460-9790. Call now because you're tired of running in circles. 800-460-9790. 800-460-9790.
Greetings again and welcome back to What's It All About. This is Dr. Donald Jolly Gabriel on KCAA, 1050 on your AM radio dial and 106.5 on your FM dial. And we have David with us as a guest today from Chicago, and he's here in the flesh. In the flesh. He had a chance to do this on the phone from Chicago, and he said, no, I want to be there in the flesh. So this is the flesh. Welcome back, David.
Hello there.
And talk to us more.
Okay. If you want to know more about what I'm doing, I'm taking oregano pills and caprylic acid, all the antifungal type things, because I also think that a fungal infection is the root cause of a lot of people's illness, whether they realize it or not. I believe there's a big connection with cancer and fungal infections, the root cause. There's a Dr. Kcaa Mancini that was treating cancer with baking soda.
He's in Italy. He's a very famous doctor, and he's becoming world famous, and he is using baking soda as an adjunctive therapy. We have to remember that it is not the answer all to everything, but it seems to be proving to be helpful in reducing the replication rate of cancer cells, which is very magnificent.
Yes, I've actually had 6 friends that have used baking soda for their cancer to help out with, no guarantees. I have one friend who's an 84-year-old man, had skin cancer removed about every month for, I want to say, about 6 or 7 months, and then he just started taking about an inch of water in the bottom of a coffee cup with a teaspoon and a half of baking soda once a day on an empty stomach so it doesn't dilute your stomach acid, and then eat a big meal. And after he started doing that, he hasn't had skin cancer in about, 11 months at all, none removed. I have some other friends that have had much better results, actually. One man had cancer in his throat and tongue, and I don't even know where else. And he was almost bedridden. He could barely get to the bathroom. And he started doing it, and in 30 days he went back to work. He didn't have a real hard job. He owned a ranch and would ride around on his horse, actually, down in Mexico. And he went back to work. I believe he stopped taking it, and later on, is my understanding, and the cancer ended up taking him. I've had several other experiences with baking soda, and the reason I believe it works is because it alkalinizes your body and allows your blood cells to do what they do instead of clumping up together, and it allows your body to take in more oxygen.
You know, that's very interesting. I think we need to do a little bit of research on that and see if we can get somebody from maybe UCI or UCLA to go with us on it and talk about that on the show and see if any research has been done and followed, because this could be a helpful thing that can be employed. It's very low cost, obviously, and it may work. And if it does, we need to get it to the people. So I want you to agree to help me on dealing with this and trying to get some research on it and see what happens. Would you agree to that?
I would tell my story to whoever.
We need the story. The story is important.
There's actually more to the story as well. There was a man in the hospital. The hospital said he had 0 to 6 days of life left, that he may perish that same day. And a friend of mine asked me to go speak to the family because it was her family member. And I told them about this, and the family laughed at me and said, there's no chance. I said, well, God gave me this information, and I'm giving it to you, and what do you have to lose? So they tried it. He was in a coma for 15 days, is what the hospital said, and the family actually ended up asking the hospital if they could give it to him, and long story short, they gave it to him. They sat by his bedside and gave him this baking soda twice, and he woke up out of a coma, because he would come out of the coma, for 30 seconds or a minute, and then, long story short, he came out of the coma and was walking around, and his blood work looked great, and the tumor stopped growing. The tumor was growing every day, every other day. They were monitoring it, and it had actually stopped growing when it was growing every day, every other day prior.
Well, that's very interesting. There may be different types of tumor growth, and some of them may be affected by the baking soda. I don't know quite what it produces. I would imagine it produces a higher level of oxygen, but I don't know that to be a fact. So I want to do a little bit of research on that, and we'll have somebody do that. I have a doctor at UCLA that I work with, and we'll try to get some information on what the actual physiological results of using baking soda are. If it is as good as we have experienced it to be, and the stories that I've been told, I think we have an obligation to share it with the people.
I think the people should know a lot more about their health than what they do and start doing research, because it's, I believe, the biggest problem in the world, in America right now.
Amen. I got to remind everybody, if anybody wants to call in, remember our telephone number for call-ins is 1-888-909-1050. That's 1-888-909-1050, and I'm going to say it again for those of you who haven't had time to get a pen or a pencil yet. Take the time to grab a pen or a pencil or a crayon or a paintbrush, and the number is 1-888-909-1050. That's 1-888-909-1050. Anybody wants to call in with a comment, a question, anything at all, please call in. Feel free to. We welcome you. David, since you're here, do you have anything else to share with us about anything at all? We like to hear the great opportunity of having comments from young people such as yourself.
The other thing I would like to say is they tested in the hospital the urine from the man with cancer, and his urine was 2.5, which is very, very acidic. And baking soda does the exact opposite. It alkalinizes your urine, your body. And you can get pH strips at pretty much any health food store. And what I do is in the morning I test my saliva before I eat or drink anything, and my urine in the morning, and just to have an idea where you're at. And sometimes I'll take a bunch of greens and put them in a Ninja, a big high-powered blender, and try to drink as many greens as possible to boost my pH level, it should help just about anybody. Most people that are sick, or even before they're sick, start to become acidic. The people that I've found.
Well, what I hear you saying, David, is that you are taking some responsibility in monitoring your health, monitoring your body functions and your blood levels, and doing something to correct the things that show up on an irregular scale. Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah, I think especially in this day and age, and at any point in time, you need to take responsibility for your health as much as you can. Sometimes it's hard when you're sick, but I think that a lot of people just kind of give it up to the doctors, don't ask questions, don't take any responsibility for themselves. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're in the situation we're in. People are not educating themselves. People are not, and then, myself included, I was always interested in health, probably much more than most. But, most people just take it for granted until something happens.
Well, I think you're right on target. Right on target. So we need to take responsibility for our health. We need to push our knowledge levels up. We need to understand that we are responsible for the most precious, magnificent piece of equipment on this planet. And it is the human body. So I appreciate your comments and your words. And I'm also looking at some of the things you said today as being a great challenge for us. A great challenge. We cannot look at these possibilities without taking some responsibility for looking into them and for finding out what I can do to make my life and my health better, to increase the quality of my life. And I want to encourage each and every one of you to do that. And whatever we talk about today, and we're not finished yet, but whatever we talk about today, write things down and go look them up. You have the world coming to your house and back to your pocket, actually. You have the world coming to your pocket or your purse or wherever you put your phone now. You have all these wild phones with the basic possibility of getting information about anything. In fact, you don't even have to push buttons anymore. I have a friend who just says, Siri, I'm hungry. And the computer starts talking to him and tells him all the restaurants within 5 to 7 miles of their place. And so they have answers to their questions. They're bringing the world of knowledge to them. We're very lucky to have that happen, but that brings with it great responsibility because we have more knowledge than we ever had before. Therefore, we have more choices than we ever had before. Therefore, we got to get off our butt and make some of the choices so that we can create some of the results that will help us. And I think that that's good advice, even though it's my own advice. So do you have anything else to add, David?
Just take responsibility for your health. A lot of people are just tired. They may not even be sick or may not be able to get diagnosed with anything or anything. But go ahead and try to try some greens, check your pH level, get some cilantro and spinach and parsley and blend it up and get a $100 Ninja or some kind of a an expensive blender that can blend it up well and start drinking some greens. And right after you're done, just look at your energy level. I mean, your energy it'll tell you right there what your body wants, what your body needs. And, I don't have all the answers. I'm struggling with my health concerns, but, I'm trying to help out. I'm trying to put the information out there that I've learned, and, I'm taking some responsibility for my health, and I hope you guys do the same.
Well, we have to take responsibility for our bodies. We have the greatest mechanism in the whole world, and we need to understand that. We need to honor it. We need to take care of it. We need to nurture it. And most of us don't do that. We're involving ourselves in destructive behavior. We're poisoning ourselves with lots of stuff that we shouldn't be using. And things in moderation should not cause a great problem. But when we overdo things, we overdo sugar constantly. We eat constantly sugar. It's in everything. I went to the market the other day with the express purpose of looking at things and seeing what did not have sugar in it. I looked at canned peas. They have sugar. I looked at canned carrots. I looked at beets. I looked at string beans. I looked at every vegetable you could find, and it was full of sugar. Well, if you pick it off the vine and shove it in your mouth, there's no sugar to speak of. So what are we doing? Why do we have sugar in everything? There's this one theory, of course, that we're trying to be screwed over, and we're trying to eat stuff to make us sick and die, so we'll spend more money on medical care. I don't buy into all that stuff, but it's very interesting to note that many people are consuming so much sugar because they don't even know that some of the things they're eating have sugar in them. And sugar will create a diabetic syndrome in the body. It will, over a period of time. There's no question about it. And that's not a good thing because it causes complications. It can cause blindness. It can cause kidney failure. It can cause lack of circulation in the feet and legs to the point where a person develops neuropathy because they don't have enough blood flow and the nerve endings begin to die, and you begin to feel that in your body, and that's not fun. It's not fun. And it can all be eliminated if we take responsibility. So that's the last thing I'm going to say on that particular subject. We have had some phone calls on the back line, and remember the back line number is area code 949-680-1915. That's area code 949-680-1915. And we've had a couple of questions come through on the back line, and one of them was very interesting. It was kind of a theological, quasi-theological, scientific question. And it had to do with healing. And one of the questions was, Jesus seemed to heal a lot in his days of public ministry. And does that mean that we should look to spirit for healing? Well, I am not the oracle of all divine knowledge, so I don't really have an answer for that. I have an opinion. And my opinion is that we need to do what we can do to cause our body to function the way it's supposed to function. And if we do that, we will empower our body to operate at the top optimum level and develop a healing level and a healing cascade process that works better than if we don't do that. In other words, if we keep abusing ourselves, if we keep smoking, for example, or keep drinking to excess, alcoholic beverages, or if we keep consuming too much sugar, we're not going to be able to reap the results that we need to reap for a consistent improvement in our health level. So we have to be proactive. We have to be looking at what we consume. What we consume becomes a part of our body. And if we ignore that, we're not buying into the reality of the equation. The reality of the equation is very, very simple. What we put into our bodies becomes systemic and cellular. And what happens to us is that what we eat becomes literally a part of us. And it either causes a toxic reaction or a negative reaction, or it creates a healing cascade and a positive nutritional reaction. And that's what we want. That's why vegetables fresh from the earth are wonderful. Organic vegetables are more wonderful. One of the questions we got was, why should we buy organic? And the comment was, it's so expensive. Well, here's the reason. Because organic vegetables don't have the chemicals and are not affected by the chemical reaction of some of the things, and especially I'm talking about pesticides. Pesticides are poison. And even if you wash them off simplistically, like they're washed off massively in the picking of different fruits and vegetables and things like that, they still become systemic. They become or part of the organism of the species. And when you eat them, you are consuming poison. And that poison is absorbed into your body, migrated to your cells, and you're full of it eventually. I know we say a lot of our friends are full of it, but that's not what we're talking about. In this case, we're talking about toxins and poisons. So we need to be really clear that our body is very susceptible to all of these things in a negative manner. And we have an incredible responsibility to give our body the best, the very best of everything we possibly can. So please remember that and take responsibility for that, because we need to really be the best we can. The only way we can do it is cut out the poisons, cut out the toxins, cut out the crap, and do what works to keep us healthy. And I don't even know if we have any calls or not. Do we have a caller? We do. All right. Well, come on. Call us. I don't know who's calling, but we'll find out in a moment.
Hello.
Greetings and salutations. Hello. Who are we talking to?
Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hey, this is Jed.
Jed, where are you calling from?
Jed. That's J-E-B.
J-E-C? Jez?
Jed.
Okay, great. Where are you?
I'm in San Bernardino. I'm up over yonder towards the Crestline area. Listen, I hear you talking about the problems and all these world problems that are going on, so I just thought I'd like to announce to everybody that the problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubt while the stupid ones are full of confidence.
I need you to say that again. I need you to say it louder and clearer because we need to hear what you said.
The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts while the stupid ones are full of confidence.
Okay, I got it.
And let me bring it into perspective. Just think about how stupid the average person is and then realize that half of them are stupider than that.
Well, tell us, enlighten us. We need to be enlightened. We don't want to be included among the stupid.
Those are not my lines, by the way. I am a part of the dumber half, but I just thought that I would call and I would let people know what's going on in the world. Thank you.
Well, that's all there is to it?
That's all there is to it.
Don't you have any answers to us? Can't you give us a great divine knowledge of what to do about all this?
No, you know why? Because I actually gave a shit earlier.
You don't give it now?
Nope, you missed it.
I missed it?
You know, they say that timing is everything, and your timing, sir, sucks.
Well, God bless you. Call back again when you're willing to talk more.
You betcha. Have a great day, y'all.
We'd love to hear you. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye. Well, God only knows what kind of calls we get. But we honor them all. Anybody else wants to call? 1-888-909-1050. Remember, our call-in KCAA toll-free number is 1-888-909-1050. All right? We welcome your calls. We love your calls. Well, David, you're still with us in the studio. By the way, David's in the studio. Most of our guests are on the phone. Where did you come from to be at the studio in California today?
Where did I come from?
Where did you come from, aside from your mother?
Chicago.
Chicago?
Yeah.
All the way from Chicago. Did you come on a boat or an airplane or a bus or a car?
A car.
You drove here from Chicago?
Yes.
Well, we honor you. God bless you, and welcome to sunny California. You arrived when? A couple days ago?
Yes, I did.
So it was pretty cold when you arrived, right?
Yeah.
But how cold does it get in Chicago?
A lot colder than here.
Tell me what that means.
It depends on the day. Every day is a little different.
Well, how cold does it get?
It could get to 20 below.
20? No, 20 below.
It gets down to probably 20 pretty often, 25, 20.
I was having a bitching problem because it was 38 degrees. You're telling me it got 20 below?
It gets down to 20 pretty often, 25, 22 pretty often out there.
Holy Moses, what do you use for heat back there?
Same thing here, gas, I'm sure. Gas heat.
Do you use coal too?
No, not anymore.
No
I don't
coal
think
anymore. What about electricity?
Yeah, I guess they use electric. I'm sure some places use coal. Who knows?
That must be, but electricity must be very expensive, huh?
Oh, yeah. Very expensive.
Oh, well, I thank you very much for being with us today, David. Perhaps you'll come back after you do some research and give us a little bit of insight and increase our level of knowledge and our motivation to take care of ourselves and to be positive. And I want to remind each and every one of you who are in our listening audience that you are created as a great specimen, and appreciate the gift of life, the capability of feeling, of creating, of thinking, of uniting with what we call God, the Spirit of God, of loving, of growing. We have an incredible body. Do you know that over 500,000 of us could fit as fertilized eggs on 1/2 of a dime? 1/2 of a dime. And we become incredible beings, the size that we are, starting out from something so small we can not see it. We have to put it in a microscope to really observe it. That's how incredible we are. And we grow into this wonderful being. Let's appreciate this incredible body that we have been given, and love it, and honor it, and do to it and with it what it deserves. Take care of it, feed it what it needs to grow, to be healthy. Keep the poisons and the toxins and the things that will ultimately destroy it away. Keep them away. If you have any comments that you want to make or suggestions about topics for shows, call our back line at area code 949-680-1915. That's area code 949-680-1915. Call into us during the show and talk to us. Contribute. Tell us things that you want us to cover and talk about. Our call-in toll-free national number is 1-888-909-1050. That's 1-888-909-1050. And I ask each and every one of us to turn our hearts and our spirits into our concept of prayer and unite ourselves with our Creator, whatever your concept of your Creator is, and just get some of that energy and give gratitude for the wonder of our life and the wonder that we really are. We are incredible beings. Take advantage of that. Reach out in love to everyone in your life. Learn how to forgive. And next week I want to talk about forgiveness in a big, heavy way. It is one of the most important, freeing things that we can possibly do. It has been a pleasure. And David, do you have any last-minute thing to say before we sign off?
Just be a funnel of love.
Amen. A funnel of love. I like that because a funnel catches a lot at the top, focuses it, and shoves it out with great power. So God bless everybody. Have a wonderful day. This is Dr. Donald Jolly Gabriel on What's It All About, 1050 on your AM radio dial, KCAA. See you all next Wednesday at 3 p.m.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
Must be CNBC Radio. A new report by creditcard.com says most people who simply ask to have a late fee waived or even to get their interest rate lowered will actually get it. But only about 1 in 5 customers even bothers to inquire. On Wall Street, stocks got back to their winning ways today, just barely, following a 5% spike in the price of oil, which lifted energy and oil company shares. And at the close,